In 1898, the United States government began funneling tens of thousands of dollars into a project to create a flying machine. The project was headed by Samuel Langley, the secretary of the Smithsonian Institution and an expert in astronomy and aviation. On December 8, 1903, Langley's full-sized machine was brought out onto the Potomac River and launched from a gigantic floating catapult, while the press and media watched on in amazement. It went up and came right back down, crashing into the river, and Langley was rightly lambasted in the papers. Meanwhile, at the same time, on a lonely stretch of land in North Carolina called Kitty Hawk, two brothers from Ohio named Orville and Wilbur Wright were getting ready to test their first flying machine. They were an odd pair, never married. In fact, they never even left their home. They ran a bicycle shop in Dayton to support their needs, but they had become obsessed with the prospect of human flight. They took no money from the federal government, and as far as the experts went, once they realized that all the aviation experts that had come before them had failed utterly just as Langley did, they said, screw the experts, and they ran practical experiments in their bicycle shop until they understood how to build a flying machine. Their first powered flight, 8 days after the Langley crash, lasted 12 seconds and covered 120 feet. Now, what's interesting about this story is, of course, the media did not report on it. Perhaps the most profound technological advance of the century. The papers either ignored it completely or ran such ludicrous stories that it made little difference. In fact, the first person who actually reported the true story of the Wright brothers' flight was a little beekeeper named Amos Root, who published a journal entitled Gleanings in Bee Culture. Yes, that's right. The 20th century equivalent of a blog. It was he who first told the true story of the flight. Now, when the Wright brothers attempted to sell their innovation several years later to the United States government, they were told, no, thank you, no, don't want that. And they had to go overseas to locate funding. Now, it would be easy to draw a parallel here between the incompetence of government and the shifty, mealy-mouthed deception of the mainstream media. In fact, it's such an easy parallel that it's the one that I'm going to draw. We are the revolution. We are decentralization. We are the wave that takes monetary sovereignty back from centralized structures and distributes it open source among the people. The government, banks, financial institutions, you trust these people with your money? No, no. Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the new source and standard of sound money. Don't forget that, people. You won't find guidance from your government. You won't find guidance from your bank. You won't find guidance from your broker. And you won't find guidance from what's on TV. What you'll find on TV is CNBC teaching you how to buy Ripple at $3 and then a week later teaching you how to sell it at $1.25. That's the knowledge you can expect from central authorities. This is the Cracking Crypto Hour, and I'm your host, Jay Wise. Alright guys, thank you for joining me today. Hope you're doing great wherever you are. So let's just jump right into it. Let me just slide on down, little man in the corner here, and look at, oh my god, it's BitConnect. That's the chart for BitConnect, right? That is the chart. No, oh, it's ZClassic. Oh, it's ZClassic. Yep, I see that. Yep, the fork occurred. So, for those of you who wanted to hold ZClassic through the fork, and didn't want to sell prior to the fork, well, I mean, hopefully you got out here. Real ouch if you got out here. Now, shout out, though, if you look at the wick on this candle, though, look at that. Look at that. Down there at 00112-ish. Whoever timed that buy, because obviously, you know, purchasing occurred there and brought it all the way back up to here. Whoever timed that dip, whoever was running whatever protocol or bot or algorithm that managed to just bid one Satoshi below whoever, man, they made a killing on that trade. Let's take a look at that. That was just a quick, man, 145%er. That was an amazing sell right there. Amazing trade. Now, you know, if we hop over to Twitter and you go to ZClassic, there's all kinds of statements from people. Thoughts on this are really divided. Initially, I had wanted to talk about the fact that, you know, Bittrex basically left people hanging really, really hard right here. You know, the Bitcoin private snapshot, today was the day, February 28th, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. Bitcoin private, we've been talking about it in the channel for a while, is a spork of Bitcoin and ZClassic. So holders of ZClassic and Bitcoin both receive an equal distribution of Bitcoin private, which is a privacy-centered, a privacy-centered fork of Bitcoin. So, you know, Bittrex had been completely mums on whether or not they would credit ZClassic holders on their exchange with BPrivate, which is fairly important as Bittrex held the largest amount of ZClassic in circulation. However, in the 11th hour, Bittrex did step in and announce that they would credit ZClassic holders with BPrivate, but not Bitcoin holders. So now the question is, will Bitcoin private start their launch with bullish momentum and excitement on their side, or will they stagnate into oblivion like Bitcoin God, Bitcoin Uranium, Super Bitcoin? I don't even know if those were real, but they were talked about. One day I'm sure I'll maybe look and see if I don't even know where they're traded. No, I'm not touching my private keys for that. Predictions on price for the upcoming BTCP range from extremely negative to ridiculously optimistic. From what I see from reliable sources, they're looking at $50 a launch, but we'll just have to wait and see. There's no clue. There's no telling. You know, obviously I would like to see it launch at something like a Bitcoin Gold. I do like Bitcoin Private. I do like the project, but we'll have to wait and see. This whole drama with Bittrex has just been unfortunate, and it really seems like they would not have even credited the fork if it wouldn't have been for the fact that so many people were trying to take their ZClassic off the exchange because of Bittrex's lack of customer service and lack of clarity regarding this issue, that they were kind of forced into it. I mean, the guy, one of the Bittrex guys came out on Twitter and said, you know, hey, there's a queue, there's like a 4-hour or something like that. There's a waiting queue for people to withdraw their ZClassic because there's just so many people trying to withdraw their ZClassic. Now they're saying they have problems with the wallet. Whatever, Bittrex, whatever. The fact is, you waited until the 11th hour, you didn't release a statement. You could have just said no a week ago, and everybody would have moved their ZClassic off, and who knows what would have happened. But, you know, really shame on Bittrex for how they handled this. They could have handled this much, much better. You know, they really botched this up. So, you know, I don't know what this means for Bittrex going forward. I mean, obviously they stepped in the 11th hour here. Let's see how badly they manage the distribution of Bitcoin private to their ZClassic holders. If we come over here, like I said, here's the official statement from Bittrex today at 1:23. I mean, this is right after the fork. These guys are crazy. It says Bitcoin private is a proposed fork of ZClassic, combining the UTXOs of ZCL with the UTXOs of Bitcoin. Let's see. The snapshot, the 5 p.m. UTC. Bittrex will not be supporting the market for Bitcoin private, which means they're not going to allow Bitcoin private to trade on Bittrex. We'll wait and see how popular Bitcoin private gets, and then we'll see if they'll recant on that. But due to issues with the ZClassic wallet, we will offer ZClassic holders on Bittrex partial support through claiming and withdrawing BTCP. You know, I trade on Bittrex. I know it's hard to get on Bittrex nowadays. It's impossible now to get on Bittrex if you don't already have an account. But I mean, just this and, you know, all the other stuff that they've done, they're just, you know, they didn't give they didn't give Bitcoin Gold as far as I'm aware. I don't know if they gave Bitcoin Cash. I mean, what are they doing with all? So Coinbase actually, I don't know if I can see a tweet about this. Maybe I can do a quick old Google search. But I was reading this earlier. Coinbase suspends withdrawals and deposits. I know I spelled withdrawals wrong. For Bitcoin private fork. Maybe I can get a blog post or something. But I was on Coinbase. Let's see here. August 4th, 2017. No, I'm not seeing. Well, that's not going to matter. But I was on Coinbase, and a lot of people, tweeted out to me and messaged me and told me that Coinbase had suspended withdrawals and deposits on Bitcoin during the time of the snapshot, which, makes me really wonder, Coinbase, what the heck are you doing? You didn't give people their Bitcoin Gold. Are you going to give people their Bitcoin private? How much money has Coinbase made off its customers' funds, off not distributing the Bitcoin dividends, the crypto dividends, to their rightful Bitcoin holders? I mean, that's just what you get if you keep your Bitcoin on an exchange like Coinbase. You need to control your own private keys, people, so you can be entitled to your own crypto dividends. But, just scrolling through the Twitter, we see that, we got different. The Crypto Monk says, ZClassic is a great case study of pre-fork psychological aspect. All-time high buyers are panicking, Bitcoin private believers are in despair, and those who missed a profit opportunity are getting salty. This scenario will likely happen with Ethereum Classic. Yes, it probably will. Let's see here. Not that one. This Home Crypto Economicus. If you are selling ZClassic 2 days before the Bitcoin private fork, your IQ is under 110. Nice manipulation, Bittrex. You're bastards for real. Let's see here. When you have Vitalik Buterin and Snowden praising the ZK Snark's tech, you know that Bitcoin private is going to be a thing. Clever marketing, proper tech, Bitcoin technicals, community driven, no ICO or pre-mine, no founder's fee. This coin is made to rule by ZClassic and get it. As composed to Bitlord, who says, shout out to all the folks shilling ZClassic and dumping on their followers. Hold for the airdrop, they said. Reduce risk, do your own research, and don't FOMO. And that's what I agree with, because, this really hurts, when you just drop, 77%. I mean, this is what Bitcoin, this happened in like this is the daily chart. So this happened over 3 days, what took a Bitcoin 2 months, almost 2 months to do. When we bottomed down there at 6,000. So, I really hope that the Bitcoin launches. I mean, God, I hope you've sold your ZClassic. I know that some people out there, in some of the trading groups are saying, buy the dip of ZClassic, it's going to go up. I don't think it's going to go up. I mean, it might. There might be some trading opportunity there, but but not anymore. This was the trading opportunity. I saw in the chats as they scrolled by, like everybody talking about buying this dip. So some people just made out on bank with this, and I'd really like to see the volumes and the numbers for this. I can, if I go right here. Yeah, 1.9 million. Yeah. So if that's in ZClassic or in cash, but either way, big profits made in that moment. So let's get over and talk about the news real quick. A couple things I just want to hit real quick before we finish off here. We got a later on the night, I'm going to be posting a Bitcoin market update, which goes into more depth than I went into last night. I just didn't have the time to do a proper post last night. And also, I have a fundamental analysis on Metronome token coming out. I finished writing the rough draft today. I will be putting the finishing touches on it and then making it look all pretty. And then I'll be loading that up to Steemit and elsewhere where my work is shared, especially on the website. So, crackingcryptocurrency.com, check it out. That's where we post our latest blog posts. Okay, enough showing. Moving on to the news from CoinDesk. This is a high stakes in the Ethereum EIP fight, EIP 867, which is the new Ethereum protocol, essentially, for dealing with how resolutions are concerned. Specifically, what they're talking about here is basically the parity wallet hack. There have been numerous examples of the Ethereum code failing in the past, and lots of funds being locked up. Kraken comes to mind. There was a big snaffle over that. Like I said, the parity wallet. Let's see here. Parity lost. Parity's been hacked twice actually, due to code. Not hacked, but this is their second code error. So, looking at this, there's this big controversial code proposal called EIP 867. And essentially what it would do is it would allow the funds to be recovered and also implement a process for how funds could be recovered in the future if a code error were to occur again. Now there's basically two sides to this camp. You have, well, here we go. Check out the article. Links will be in the notes section down below. But basically you have two opposing viewpoints. You have view one, which is the code is the law, which is the Bitcoin viewpoint, which is, hey, you guys wrote the code. It's not users' faults that your code was screwed up and wrong, but this will help you guys learn in the future, and you can't just roll the chain back because that just sets you guys up to be the arbiter anytime something goes wrong, and nobody should have that much power and authority. You should keep the system decentralized, and you should keep the consensus mechanisms decentralized. You can't just force these things on people, just like when they did when they recovered the first amount, the first funds after the DAO hack. And this is what caused the Ethereum Classic fork, is because the people that went with Ethereum Classic did not want, well, I mean, Ethereum forced it on people. They pushed the issue to a vote, and the chain forked, and Ethereum moved on, recovering the DAO funds, and Ethereum Classic did not, because they could not find consensus. But the way they did it was really mealy-mouthed, because they put the issue to a vote, but the default vote was yes, split. And so a lot of people didn't vote, because this is how democracy works. You have a small, Pareto principal distribution amount of people that actually get involved and do the work, and those people are often involved in the politics, because that's just how human society works. If you're active in something, you're in the clique. And if you're not active in something, you're usually despondent and you don't care and you're not going to vote anyways. So when they set the people who are despondent and don't care and aren't going to vote anyways, when they set their vote to default, I mean, that's manipulating the system. It'd be like if I'm like, all right, everybody has to vote on whether I'm going to keep $10 million. But to vote, you've got to drive to my house, you've got to come to my door, and you've got to mark this off. And if you don't do that, if you don't go through the process of voting, then your vote will be counted as a yes, I get to keep the money. That's basically, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but that's basically what's going on here. Now, obviously, the second view is code as a process. That, hey, we screwed up, but there's a lot of money at stake here. We know whose money it is. Let's just give it back to them. It's not a big deal. It's a big deal. I do not cater to the code as a process viewpoint. I am a Bitcoin guy. My viewpoint is that code is law, and that you should not have centralized power structures and authorities going around and reversing people's boo-boos and mistakes. And here's the thing, like they're making this all about the money when, that's all it is. It's just money. If Ethereum was worth nothing and it was just a digital token, nobody would care, and everybody would take that first approach, because that is the proper approach. The proper approach is that if the code creates an error, then you learn from that and you move forward when dealing with blockchain technology, because it's supposed to be immutable. That is the purpose of a blockchain. That is the power of a blockchain. That is what they were created for. They weren't created to backstep and stumble over every little problem and hold people's hands and give them back their money. And that's all it is. Just people are worried about losing lots of money, and they're going to go crying to the Vitalik Buterin government for a bailout. And I think it's bullshit, That's what I don't like about, I like what Ethereum's doing. I love the virtual machine idea, but I don't like the centralization, and I don't like that this can even occur. I don't like it. Moving on. World's most miserable world's most miserable country to launch its own cryptocurrency today. So obviously Venezuela is in the news. We've all known about this. I wanted to make a video earlier about this, but I'm just going to touch on it briefly right now. Venezuela has announced that the petro will be their national currency. It will be backed by the Venezuelan oil barrels. Supposedly one petro is supposed to be backed by one Venezuelan oil barrel that they have underneath the earth in a warehouse, probably sitting in the some bank in America somewhere, hypothetically speaking. So listen, there's good things and there's bad things to this. Obviously, just from a first glance, it is amazing that we have reached this level of adoption with cryptocurrency, that a country, even a shithole like Venezuela, but a country is going to adopt a crypto as its national currency. I don't care, whether it's Sweden or Venezuela. It doesn't matter if it's the United States of America or Haiti. The idea of a cryptocurrency on this massive of a scale is really exciting and really tells a whole lot. Now, there are some negatives to this. It's Venezuela. That's the negative. And Venezuela has a history of barbarism. Not the Venezuelan people, this isn't, but their government and their leadership and the way that they have treated their people. They have they've been horrible to their people down there, and they have stolen from them, and they have taken from them, and now they're going to turn around and probably use this as an opportunity to take from them some more, because it's going to be a centralized power structure coin, It's going to be from a central authority where they can go back and rewrite and roll over everything over the way that they want it to be. And I don't think that people are going to have a lot of say at the end. I think that it could receive some negative publicity. I think that the world might look and be like, well, Venezuela wants to adopt a cryptocurrency. Who wants to be like Venezuela? We're going to stick with the dollar. No, I think that countries are inevitably going to switch to cryptocurrencies because it's the best technological innovation of the last ever. But, you know, in the short term could be some negative press. But, you know, on the other hand, I think it's amazing press because a country is going to use crypto as their national currency. This is amazing. This is big. Here is another news from news.bitcoin. And this is the Venezuelan, look at that, just old grumpy old man, human piece of garbage. Venezuela orders government services to accept any cryptocurrency. That means that you can go to Venezuela, why would you want to, but you can go to Venezuela and you can spend your money on anything you want with any cryptocurrency, and the government, or excuse me, and the vendors and the merchants and the government services are going to be forced to accept that. So if you want to go down there in Dogecoin, you can pay around in Dogecoin. If you want to go down there with some ZClassic, go down there with some undervalued, steep-pocketed, deep ZClassic. Do that. At elpetro.gov.ve is the white paper for the Venezuelan petro. Let me click on the old Google Translate. Beep, beep. Thank you. All right. The petro is the first crypto active. I don't know if it's a bad translation or if they don't really know what they're talking about. Anti-wash manual. Interesting. Not exactly sure if that's an accurate translation. Thank you, Google. Good looking out. It says here the petro will be backed by the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and the wealth of its large reserves of crude oil. More importantly, petro has been created in an innovative way using the highest standards in blockchain technology and information security, and thinking of a future where electronic asset representations facilitate more direct trade between emerging nations as well as the work of the state within the framework of true financial and economic independence. Horseshit coming from Venezuela. Horseshit coming from the petro. You know, they got the private token sale going on now where they're gonna let all the moneyed people in Venezuela get in on the token, and then they'll open it up to the public. And I don't know if it's going to be a public ICO. I don't know if you're going to be able to buy it. You know, something to consider if you're an American investor. You know, the United States has sanctions against Venezuela, so if you are caught investing in the petro ICO, you could face some serious ramifications as far as legal discipline goes. I'm not exactly sure what the punishment is for providing financial assistance to a country where your government has sanctions against them, but I'm fairly sure it's pretty steep. So I would just go ahead and stay away from that. If it hits an exchange, I mean, we'll trade it like anything else. You know, it's from the trader perspective, we trade what trades, you know. So anyways, moving on. Their white paper is just another link from, yes, the white paper. The link to the white paper is on that elpetro.gov.ve. I think it's the buyer's manual, or it said technical aspects the last time I was looking at this, so maybe it's this. But anyways, one of these buttons, if you read Spanish, it's let's see, it's yeah, that is anti-wash. It's here somewhere. I clicked on the link somewhere. Here it is. Yeah, the Descargue el papel técnico, the technical paper. Okay, so let's take a look at the charts. Let's take a look at the markets real quick. It seems like it is a fairly red day for almost all of the top 100 cryptocurrencies. Let's see, we've got Bitcoin down about 3%, Ethereum down about the same, Ripple down about 4.5%, Bitcoin Cash down a little bit. So everything's, you know, this is kind of one of those iffy days. You know, Bitcoin's consolidating, and strangely, it seems that money's flowing out. Usually when Bitcoin consolidates like that, you know, we see a nice surge in the alt prices. And again, just like yesterday, the highest percentage gain is again that Digix DAO. You know, Digix DAO was up 16% yesterday, up another 15% today. Game credits. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I think I have some game credits sitting in an exchange somewhere. Oh, well, I wish I would have sold up here. No, I think I bought it not too long ago, so we'll go check that out. Anyways, that's for me. So let's see here. Yeah, so just kind of a weird day. You know, everything's just kind of down a little bit. Kind of a sad, depressing day. Now, there's been some good trading opportunities. You know, I day traded a little metal earlier. It had some pretty good volume. and some made some made safe. I was able to trade this little thing, just on a day trade. Nothing major. Like a little. I think on metal I got like a 3% scalp, and I think 2% on made safe. But sometimes that's all you can do, guys. You just got to keep your finger on the trigger. So that's pretty much all I got today. Again, normally I would want to look at Bitcoin or maybe look at the charts a little bit, but I want to keep this video short. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Again, all the links to all relevant information will be posted down there in the notes section. Guys, I'm not a huge shiller, but last month our premium members 400% profit in a bear market. We had a really good month as traders. We're still having good days. We got some calls out right now that we're consistently doing this. And I've noticed this with other trading groups. Other trading groups shut down, quit, went away, didn't know how to trade the bear market. We didn't do that. We stayed around. CrackingCryptocurrency.com, guys. It's a lousy $100 a month. To follow along with our trades and see what we're doing and learn how to trade and learn trading. I mean, you can go elsewhere and you can pay $1,000 to go to a seminar. You can pay $1,000 to get some bot. You can pay $1,000 to, whatever. I know some of these groups charge half an Ethereum. I mean, it's a lousy 0.01 Bitcoin a month to learn how to trade and ride along with us. It's, you make your own choices, but I'm down with the group, guys. CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Check it out if you haven't already. Links to the Discord. Make sure you subscribe to this video, like this video, share this video with people you don't even like. We love those thumbs up. Leave your comments down in the section below. Hop on the Discord. Let us know what you think, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. JY is free, signing out.